And it reminds me of a study that was done in the academic space. And they were looking at essentially sort of tipping behavior. And they would have a waiter come up to and serve a table at a restaurant. And at the end of the meal, give them a check. And they had one group where they would give them a check with 1 mint for everyone at the table. And they would measure how well they tipped based on that. And they may have given on a $10 meal, they gave a $1.50 tip, a 15% standard tip. For another group, they served them, they catered the meal, and then they would give 2 mints to everyone at that table. And they would measure to see how does that impact the tip? And it didn't really change all that dramatically when you offered 2 mints to everyone at the table. But then there was a third test that they did, which was the most interesting, which was the waiter would serve the group, they would bring them their check, give them all 1 mint, and begin to walk away. And then stop for a moment and return and say, you've been a great table. Here's an extra chocolate mint for everyone at the table. The difference in tip for that third group was statistically significantly higher than any of the other two. And the reason behind it is, in that moment, in that one turnaround, in that one sort of secondary giving of the mint, the waiter demonstrated thoughtfulness to that table, and the table recognized it, and the table valued it to the point of increasing their tip at a statistically significant higher level. And if we're doing that for our donors, that's where we see those donors that we have will give us more, will be more loyal, may give us more frequently, because they recognize we are thinking about and valuing and being appreciative of their relationship to the organization.
There was another experiment where if the waiter just lightly touched the shoulder of the person, paying the bill when, as they were presenting it, that it actually increased also. It was not over the top, obviously, just a slight touch on the shoulder, and it gave them a feeling of familiarity, of friendship. So it also increased that, which is what happens when you call them and it's unexpected. And that's why it's so important to have records of what happens in the organization.